Steelers to the playoffs.
Greeny, I love the way you worded this, because what we do know in 2023, none of the three quarterbacks that they played led the Pittsburgh Steelers to the playoffs. It was that defense. Now, if Russ is able to do that, that means he's playing great football, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are contenders, not pretenders. Trust me.
Okay, so let's get to that here. We've got Russell Wilson in one corner, and we have Justin Fields in the other. And Louis Riddick was here yesterday, sitting right there, and he had a very strong feeling, a very strong take about the microscope under which Justin Fields plays. Listen.
This guy takes more crap from people as far as them constantly trying to blow holes in his game, that where now they're sitting there going, and I've seen some of the discourse on this. This is why he shouldn't start. This is why Russ should start.
But
I mean, it's just to me, it's annoying that we pinpoint certain people to hang this kind of stuff on.
Louis was fired up, baby.
He was fired up, and that was just in the interest of time, that went on a while, and he was fired up. The question is he right?
I think he is right. I understand Justin Fields isn't a finished product by any means. I think a lot of us look at him and we see the potential of what can be. But when I think of Justin Fields, I get very frustrated because in the pre-draft process, he was dogged as somebody who, he's lazy. He doesn't cut, he's not one of those show up early guys, which is something that is so far from the truth, but the narrative was set. And that's what I get frustrated with these quarterback evaluations, because once you say that about a prospect, now that's the lens that they're forever colored by, right? And I understand. I think people are looking at his situation in Pittsburgh like he's younger, he's faster, he's more athletic, he should take this job easily. But also the context of Chicago. We talked for years about how the Chicago Bears put him in an unwinnable situation. So you can't extract that context and now look at him and judge him as a finished product. Are the fumbles an issue? Yes. Does he need to fix that? Yes. But I also think there's got to be the context has to be added to that equation when you evaluate him.
What do you think of it, D-Wood?
Listen, I'll say this. I think there were situations in Chicago that was clearly unfair to Justin Fields. There's no question about it. But I'll also say this. As much as we talk about Justin Fields not being a quote-unquote finished product, at the quarterback position, you're expected to play on schedule. Okay? That's how offenses, tend to thrive and all those type of things. What Justin Fields does and what he has shown so far in his career, he takes a lot of sacks, and he has turnovers. You can't play the position at a high level when that area of your game is a big issue. You can't take sacks because those are drive killers, and you can't have turnovers, which gives the ball to the other team. Like, you can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't gloss over that. We can't do it.
Can I ask a question? Who has the second most sacks behind him?
No, he has the most. Justin is second. Russell is first.
That's what you
But we're
talk
not-
about veteran experience. I get it.
Am I sitting here lauding Russell Wilson? I think they're both pretty much the same, except one has a lot more athletic ability. That's it. Both take bad sacks. Both turn the ball over. And my whole question is, the Zebras change their stripes?
Oh.
Do they? Can Mike Tomlin get it out of them? He's the great coach.
Harry,
we will see.
Get in here, Harry.
So it's funny because what both of y'all are saying is true. Like, he wasn't set up for success in Chicago, but what D. Wood is alluding to, when you look at the quarterback position, you have to do the little things and the routine things consistently. That has not been Justin Fields for his 3 years in the NFL. Now, I do know for sure that he's being coached properly with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to go back to the preseason game. Did he do a lot of things right? Yes, he did. Were the sacks on him? Probably not, because number 77 had a rough time, boy. And I mean, he going to have to get right, because what I've seen from him out there is atrocious. But let me tell y'all this. In every football game, and what do you understand this? There's 5 to 7 plays that determine the outcome. My receiver coach used to tell us in the meeting room, if I got to sit here and coach receiver get on and off the ball, we don't stand a damn chance. If a coach has to sit there and coach quarterback center exchange extensively, you don't stand a chance to win a football game, because that can be one of the plays that derails the season. What did we see in the Super Bowl when the Philadelphia Eagles played the Kansas City Chiefs? As great as Jalen Hurts played, that one play cost them, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. When it comes to a football game, there are a handful of plays that can determine the outcome. He had 2 quarterback center exchange fumbles in that matchup in the preseason game. In the first one, it was probably going to be a very successful run. So not only are you taking away an explosive play and a chance at hitting a home run, the play is not even starting.
Just how Harry set that whole thing up is proof of what I'm talking about. He said, was Justin Fields set up for was he put in bad situations in Chicago? Yes, but we just gloss right over that and we talk about, oh, but the fumbles in this game. But were the sacks all his fault? No, but and anything that is positive in the kid's favor, we sort of just gloss over. I will say, I think it's somewhere in between what Damian and Lewis is saying. I think the final point is it's somewhere in the middle. When you look at the amount of offensive coaches and systems this kid has been in since Ohio State, that is important context for the beginning of his career and setting him back. I just don't understand why we don't pay more attention to that.
I do pay attention to it.
Can I ask y'all this, though?
His history. Well, go ahead, Harry. Finish. Go ahead.
Granny, you've hit the nail on the head with this one. Here's the harsh truth in 2023. None of the quarterbacks who took the field for the Pittsburgh Steelers managed to push them into the playoffs. It wasn't their leadership, it was that dominant defense keeping them afloat. But imagine this: if Russell Wilson can change that narrative, then we're talking about something huge. Suddenly, the Steelers are no longer pretenders, they're true contenders. Trust me, if Wilson pulls this off, it's because he's playing some of the best football of his life. But let's break it down further. On one side, we have the veteran Russell Wilson, and on the other, the rising star Justin Fields. Just yesterday, Louis Riddick was fired up about this, and he had some strong words about the relentless scrutiny Justin Fields faces. Look, he said, this guy takes more heat than anyone else out there, with people constantly trying to poke holes in his game. And now here we are questioning whether he should start or if Russell Wilson should take the lead. It's infuriating that we single out certain players like this. Riddick was on fire, and honestly, he's got a point. Is he right? I think he might be. Let's be clear, Justin Fields isn't a finished product, not by a long shot. We see the potential, we see the flashes of brilliance, but the frustration comes from how he's been treated dog by critics during the pre-draft process as lazy or unmotivated, which couldn't be further from the truth. Yet, once that narrative took hold, it stuck with him. It's a lens through which he's constantly judged. Here's where it gets really interesting. People look at Fields in Pittsburgh and think he's younger, faster, more athletic, he should easily take the job, right? But let's not forget the context of Chicago, where Fields was set up for failure for years. We've talked endlessly about how the Bears put him in impossible situations, yet now we're ready to judge him as a finished product. Yes, the fumbles are an issue. Yes, he needs to fix that. But without adding the context of his past challenges, we're not evaluating him fairly. D. Wood chimed in with his perspective. Listen, the situation in Chicago was clearly unfair to Fields, no doubt about it. But here's the thing: at the quarterback position, you've got to play on schedule. That's how offenses succeed. What we've seen from Fields so far is that he takes sacks and he turns the ball over. You just can't do that at a high level. Those are drive killers. I'm sorry, but we can't gloss over that. Then a crucial question was asked: who has the second most sacks in the league? The answer? Justin Fields. And the first? Russell Wilson. That's where it gets complicated. Neither of these guys has been stellar when it comes to avoiding mistakes. Sure, Fields has more athleticism, but both have struggled with turnovers and costly sacks. Can Mike Tomlin fix this? Can he get these quarterbacks to rise above their past mistakes and lead the Steelers to greatness? That's the million-dollar question. Harry jumped in, backing up the reality of Fields' situation. Look, it's true Fields wasn't set up for success in Chicago, but as D. Wood said, the quarterback position requires consistency in the little things. Fields hasn't shown that yet. Now, I believe he's being coached properly with the Steelers, and I saw some good things in the preseason. But those sacks, they might not all be on him, but they're still happening, and that's a problem. And then Harry dropped a truth bomb in every football game. There are 5 to 7 plays that determine the outcome. If those plays go wrong, your season can spiral out of control. Fields had 2 quarterback center exchange fumbles in the preseason. One of those plays could have been a huge run, but it never got off the ground. These are the kinds of mistakes that can derail everything. This is where we hit the crux of the issue. Was Justin Fields put in bad situations in Chicago? Absolutely. But now we're focusing on his mistakes here in Pittsburgh, and we can't just gloss over them. Even if the sacks weren't all his fault, it's hard to ignore the negatives. Damian and Lewis had it right. It's somewhere in the middle. Fields has been through a lot of coaching changes, systems, and bad luck since Ohio State, and that has to be considered when evaluating him. But at the same time, we can't let that context completely overshadow the issues he's still facing on the field. History is filled with players whose careers were derailed by bad luck. Drafted by a bad team, stuck with a lame duck coach, forced into constant rebuilding, these things happen. And they're often out of the player's control. But luck or not, this is the situation now. Fields has a chance to rewrite his story, and the Steelers have to decide if they're willing to bet on him.